Hello, my name is Kate Glaser. Today I'm with Jeff Buckley from Kautz Buckley, and we are here to talk about choosing a financial planner. Obviously something that is very important when it comes to financial planning. Jeff, thank you for being here today.
Yes, well, you're welcome. I'm looking forward to speaking on this topic.
Yeah, so when it comes to finding the most ideal financial planner, where do we start?
Well, in my opinion, it's very important. First off, this is an important question. I think if you're making the decision to start looking for a financial advisor, a financial planner, there's a lot of research and studies out there to back up that that's a very good decision. People that do engage with a financial planner seem to have much more confidence in their financial situation, and also their performance of their investments and their overall financial situation seems to be much better. My thought, though, my recommendation when you do begin that search is first and foremost what you want to do is ask yourself a couple questions. And the first is, what are you confident in doing yourself? We have a lot of clients actually that we work with in our office that are very interested in the financial markets. They're very interested in investing, and they really enjoy doing some of the work themselves. So as they come to us, they might have other areas they're not quite as sure about, the insurance planning, the financial planning, the other aspects of kind of a comprehensive financial plan. But we take that into account, and we make sure that if they like to have some investments that they manage themselves, we certainly account for that and make sure they have a little money set aside so they have their play money, they can pick the investments and work that way. So there's that, and I think even if you are very comfortable in the financial markets, if you've made the decision to work with a financial advisor, what's prompting that? A lot of times I think it comes down to just simply not having enough time. I'm sure, we're both very busy at your daily activities, you have kids, the job, everything. It's difficult to find the time that you need to dedicate to managing your finances on a weekly, monthly, yearly basis. So if you answer those questions, I think you start to come up with a picture of what type of financial advisor you're going to need to work with. There's a lot of different types of financial advisors out there, different levels of knowledge, different levels of experience. Also, the licensing is very important. The way this industry works, or this business works, is you can be licensed to handle certain financial transactions or make certain financial recommendations, but you may not be licensed to do others. So there are ways where an individual that's exploring different financial advisors can go on. There's something referred to as the FINRA broker check. It's FINRA. It's an abbreviation or an acronym that stands for the Financial Industry Regulatory Authority. And you can look up different advisors on there, and it lists exactly what licenses they have. And some have very limited licenses, and you need to know if you're going in to talk with a financial advisor that does have that limited licensing, that you may only be presented with investment options in a certain area. Whereas if you go with an advisor that has additional licensing or even carries the CFP certification, which is a certified financial planner, those advisors are able to basically talk about anything out there, and make recommendations and the purchases and sales, that kind of thing. So it can be very important. So,
yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
And is it as simple as typing in Google search, I need a financial advisor, Buffalo, New York, or do you really go for like word of mouth or who you know? What is the best way to find your financial advisor?
Well, and again, I would kind of go back to it can be an individual preference, really. If geographically, if you're more comfortable sitting across the table like we're doing now and speaking with someone, then perhaps you should start your search locally. Personally, Dan, I have a number, and my partner, Dan Kautz, we both have a number of clients that are out of state. I have one client that I've actually never met in person, but we've been working together for years. She's very comfortable with a Zoom conference call. We still meet just as regularly as we would if she lived down the street from me. But we have that ability to connect over online. And so I think whatever your preference is there, but yeah, a Google search could at least start to give you a ranking of some advisors close to you locally, and then you can start to kind of narrow down which ones might be a good fit. And another thing I would certainly recommend is interview 3 or 4 or 5 different advisors, because it really, the financial advisor relationship, a lot of times a financial advisor, because of their position, they almost become your kind of your family CFO, your chief financial officer, and like really the quarterback. They might help you find an attorney to help you get your estate planning documents in line, but they're important because they bring in the knowledge of what accounts you have and how those accounts are registered, and that's information the attorney is going to look for. Come tax time, your tax professional is going to want to speak with your financial advisor to get the information they need to prepare your return. So having that close relationship and really building trust is very important.
I like the way that you put it, the family or the business CFO, correct? So that is so important. Is it expensive to have a financial advisor? Is it free? How does that work as well?
Well, that's a great question too, because there really are a number of different types of advisors out there. There are what are referred to as fee-only advisors. And again, for the person that really feels confident kind of managing their own financial assets, but they want somebody to help them bring everything together initially, you can hire what's referred to as a fee-only financial planner, and you pay them a flat fee. They'll take your assets, they'll make recommendations and prepare a plan for you, and then they'll deliver that plan to you, and your engagement with them is then over. So you can then go out, take that plan, engage or implement it yourself, and feel pretty comfortable doing so. Or there are other people that might be on the opposite extreme of that just say, I don't want to do anything myself. I just want to meet with somebody quarterly or a couple times a year and review everything and make sure I'm still on track. And then you can hire an advisor. Those will charge normally on kind of an assets under management fee structure. Yes. So those could potentially be more expensive, but you're also getting a lot more service, I think, out of that type of an advisor.
And it's good that you mentioned that you have an entire network of connections, whether you need a lawyer or maybe there's an accountant that needs to support that. So it really is not just your team, but you have a bunch of referrals at your fingertips, correct?
Definitely, yes. And I think that's important. I'm an attorney. I'm affiliated with the Stam Law Firm, so we do handle a lot of the estate planning work if a client has a need there. But we also have other attorneys that we can certainly refer to. I know Dan has a relationship with a close relationship with an attorney that really has a specialty in supplemental needs trusts. It's an area that not affects everybody. I mean, it's usually where there's a disability in the family, a child or something, but they need some special care, and Dan has a close relationship with that attorney, can help in that area, and then he brings obviously the financial advisor knowledge along with that too. So yeah, it's very important, and the network is very important, certainly.
Agreed. And
yes.
What makes Kautz Buckley so valuable to their clients?
Well, thank you. I do feel, like we do, we're not a transactional office. So in other words, I know financial advisors out there, and again, for some people, this is exactly what they're looking at or looking for. But they'll sit at their desk, they take a phone call from a client to purchase a certain number of shares of stock, and then that's the end of the transaction. Whereas Dan and I don't have any clients like that. We're kind of the opposite extreme there. We meet regularly with our clients. We try to even engage the next generation, meaning if you've got children, we want to get them included in the conversation as well when you're comfortable. But doing so kind of brings the family together and everybody's on the same page. There's a greater understanding and a little more peace of mind too. So I think we kind of work through everything, and the way Dan and I are set up too is we have the financial licenses, but we also have an insurance license. We're not out trying to sell life insurance, but there are times when we meet with clients, there's a need for life insurance. So we have the ability to handle that without making another referral and sending them down the street to someone else. We can kind of handle a lot of that in-house.
And how long have you been in financial advisement, planning? Talk about the experience of your team.
Yeah, Dan has been actually doing this longer than I have because I was in private practice as an estate planning attorney for a number of years and then got in it. But I have my CFP certification. I got that in 2012, I think it was. So it's, that's 13, 14 years there. And I was working as a financial advisor before that and an estate planning attorney. Dan's been doing it even longer than I have. So between the two of us, we have a significant number of years of experience, and I think that really pays off because it truly, just like anything out there, it's what you've seen and what you've worked through in the past with other clients. We bring that knowledge, that experience, really to every relationship that we have, and I feel that our clients are able to benefit from that.
Thank you for tuning in. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to Dan or Jeff. Thank you again for the conversation.
Find more information at KautzBuckleyFinancial.com or call us at the office at 716-276-8480.